Welcome back, Shalligators, and welcome, graduates. Oh my God! Are you just like on top of the world? You're like graduating? I know. It's a hellscape. To leave the only lifestyle you've ever known, being a student. I mean, before you were a student, you were what? In diapers? Okay. And now you're just like spat out into the world and you're supposed to know what you're like doing and even know what you're supposed to be doing. And you're supposed to be really happy about it. I feel like I graduated yesterday. Oh, Shallon, you look like you did. Oh, really? Oh, no. If you're recently in the cap and gown, if you are maybe even not quite there yet, but maybe it's your senior year coming, you're like, ugh, I'm gonna have to deal with this soon. Or maybe you're just like pausing in your early career and you're like, I don't know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And I honestly don't even know where to begin to sort that out. I've got you. Now, usually here on this channel, if you're new, you might not know, we typically take celebrity events and mine them for what we can get out of it. What can we learn from Kourtney Kardashian's bullshit behavior? What can we learn from Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, right? But here, this is grad week, and we're gonna focus just on you guys. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you're gonna feel a little calmer, a little bit more infused with a plan, and a whole lot better about yourself and your future, because your future really is so amazing and so bright. Your tits are as perky as they're ever gonna be. Do you know that? They're only gonna get saggier. Don't have kids yet. Keep your nipples right where they are. They're great, okay? Don't do it. So in this video, we're gonna talk about how to figure out what to do with the rest of your life, how to figure out who you are, and how to find yourself after college. But before we get started, just to let you know, if you want to talk one-on-one with me, you can actually submit a question to me. I answer all of them. You can go to my website, shallonlester.com, or click the link right down there in the description box. Click submit a question and I get back to you. I can also do an Instagram review. I can get you help in just 24 hours if it is ASAP, which I know when we're stressed out, it's like, I literally cannot wait for this. No. Also, Shalligators, come with me to Paris. We have a new fan trip that just launched to Paris, Versailles, and the Champagne region next April. It is going to be so much fun. And actually, as we speak, as you're watching this video, I am currently on a fan trip to Costa Rica with a group of Shalligators. If you want to follow along and see the kind of stuff we do and like the sisterhood and what kind of girls go on these trips, head over to my Instagram, ShallonXO. You know I got you. Okay. I'm sorry, this microphone, like, what is it? What? It's either my bangs that are the enemy on this channel or it's my microphone. But I can't just have a day where it's like, nothing's pissing me off. Let's talk. Okay. For some people, and I'm sure these are the people you're comparing yourself against, the path after college is so incredibly clear. They go into the military. They go to law school. They go to medical school. They just never leave school and they stay in academia literally forever. Becoming a professor of classics. I would love to be a professor of classics. I love that shit. Geek out on it. But if you're here, the path is maybe not that clear. Or maybe you recently switched paths because you're like, I don't want to be an electrical engineer. My dad is, and that's great. That is not for me. And now you're like, holy shit, I feel so behind. That's probably what you're feeling. Lost, and not just lost, comparing yourself and being lost. Look, the first thing you're going to do here, and I want you to make me a promise, is stop comparing yourself to other people. First of all, everyone's fucking lying. They're completely full of shit. I remember, and my mom brings this up. She's like, the year after you graduated college, like, she's like, I'd be on Facebook with you, like looking over your shoulder. I'd never seen so many VPs in my life. Everyone was a VP of marketing, a VP of this, a VP blah, blah, blah. She's like, there's no way a 22, 23-year-old is a vice president of anything. They don't even have their own house. They live with like 4 other dudes. Like, nobody is a vice president. And it's really true. But the good news is that everyone is bullshitting about where they are and how fabulous everything is. Oh, I'm just like Emily in Paris, only I'm in Des Moines. I'm Emily in Des Moines and I'm like fucking crushing it. No one feels like they're crushing it. And if they do, okay, I'm gonna get to these people in a minute. So look, I want you to stop comparing yourself because what you're seeing on social media, even what your friends are telling you is like not always the thing. But let's say you are encountering a lot of legitimate VPs. Okay, that might not be your path. Actually, at Goldman Sachs, you know, the hedge fund, your new hire, you are a VP. But it's like, I'm not a hedge funder. So why would I be comparing what their role is when it's like, I don't even want to be in this industry, full stop. I really, really, really encourage you to take a social media break. Not forever. You don't have to be all weird about it. Just log out for like a few days and see what that does to your anxiety. See what that does to your clarity, because you need to be making decisions based on you. I mean, you don't have to. You could stay in student mode, which is, I have to do what everyone else is doing. I mean, that's literally what school is. No, you're taking bio. No, you're taking debate, whatever that might be. Fuck it if it works for you. Fuck it if you don't want to learn Spanish. Too bad. There's so little choice when you're a child, right? But you're not a child anymore. You're an adult. And trust me, I know that that's the scary part. The communists have a motto: one road, no one gets lost. And man, doesn't one road sound nice right about now? I don't want to make all these decisions. There's so many of them. I remember feeling that way, that there were a myriad of roads stretching out before me, and everyone felt right and everyone felt wrong. So if you're here on this video, chances are you fall into one of two categories. You are either good at many different things. You can write. You like to act. You could maybe be a lawyer and like be a trial lawyer or something, but you could also write a book. You could work for a magazine. Or you don't know what you're good at, or you feel like you're not really good at anything. Let's tackle the first, because that's the camp I fell into. I was just so good at so many things. It's not that I was so good at so many things. I was just interested in so many things. Like, there was something very alluring about the military. I almost joined the army. I know. What a disaster I would be out there. America definitely sleeps better at night knowing I'm not protecting it. But I was very into that. I loved my country. But I also really liked to travel. But I really liked psychology. But I really liked acting and performing. And I was like, So I was trying to decide, should I be a school psychologist? Because that was only like another 2 years of schooling. And I think your starting salary at the time was like $60,000 or $70,000. Not bad for like 23, right? Did I want to move to Los Angeles? I went to Cal Poly in Northern California. Hey, Mustangs, if any of you guys are watching. Did I want to move to LA and pursue like improv comedy that I had done for like 10 years? I want to try to be on Saturday Night Live. Did I want to move to New York and be like Sex in the City and work in magazines? If you're new here and if you don't know me, it's funny. I actually, when I think about it, I guess I've done kind of a combination of those things. I did move to New York after I graduated, but not right after. We'll get there in a second. I worked for collegehumor.com. I published 2 novels. I was in magazines. I worked for Self Magazine, Condé Nast. I had a column at Glamour. I worked for Maxim Magazine. I wrote for Gossip Girl. And I sort of ended my journalism career in New York as the editor-in-chief of Star Magazine. And now I'm a YouTuber. So I say this because your career can take many twists and turns. That's like the good news, but it's also the bad news, because you might be thinking, so I'm going to have to start over like this multiple times. Got it. Not if you don't want to. And starting over, first of all, is not always a bad thing. I am so thankful that I was able to start over as a YouTuber. It was a great point in my career. And if you're curious about what it takes to become a YouTuber or an influencer, I actually have a series on this. I did several videos answering people's questions. And I can do an update on that. It's literally the hardest job I've ever had. It's the coolest and the most fulfilling, but it is definitely the toughest. So if you're like, I'm just gonna like be an influencer, bitch, you're better off working in a coal mine. It is. And you might make more money mining coal, okay? This is not the shortcut at all. Like, this is not a shortcut. It's like saying I'm gonna be a neurosurgeon because I'm afraid of hard work. Okay, but I digress. So you might be thinking, there are so many different paths, I don't know which one to take. Okay. First things first, get a job. Not a career, a job. They're different. A job means I don't care how far in these ranks I rise. A career means I do. This is a path. I'm walking it. I'm giving it my all. I'm diversifying myself. This is the tree I'm climbing. There's a vertical here. Now, I know people who, if you look at them on paper, they have a career, but actually they have a job. They aren't taking it upon themselves to rise the ranks. They're not really going for that promotion. They're kind of just being a cog in the wheel. Oh, they're moving my cubicle again. They're just kind of a work-a-day hump. And it might be in corporate America, and it might be a job that's kind of cool on the surface. A lot of people I worked with in magazines were like that. They were never really going anywhere. They were like an assistant editor, an associate editor, and that's as far as they'd go. They didn't really care. To me, they had a job. I have always had careers, but not right after I graduated. And this was for financial reasons. I mean, I looked at so many of my friends because I'm from Orange County, California. I'm from Newport Beach, from a very nice area. And my friends were like, dad was setting them up with like an apartment in Santa Monica and like acting lessons and like paying for them to go to like UCLA grad school and like whatever. That was not my reality. My mom paid for my college. She bought a house when I was there, like very generous, but it was like, have fun out in the real world. So I moved home. I moved home and lived with my mom for like a year. I also lost my father during that time. It's a whole thing. So I moved home and I lived at home and I was a waitress and a secretary. Half the day one thing, half the day the other thing. I want you to do something similar. Why? Because you need some breathing room and you need to stash some cash as much as possible. Now look, I get that flexing on Instagram that you're working at Panera is not really the move. So you're telling me I've worked this hard to graduate and now I'm a sandwich artist. No, you worked this hard to graduate and now you are doing exactly what a smart, wise adult would do, which is choose wisely. You're not rushing into something because, well, everybody else is doing it. I almost peer pressure went to law school. I was like, well, I don't know. A lot of people are going to law school. Should I go to law school? I didn't want to go to law school. I like to argue, but I didn't. I was done with schooling. I was like done as a student. I had not one more minute of studying in me. Done. I want you to make choices that are purposeful. Children make non-purposeful choices. I don't know. I'm in a handful of frosting. I'm gonna press every button in the elevator. That's not you. That's not you. Did you come this far to only come this far? Did you come this far to not be an adult, but to actually revert to the bullshit childishness? And look, that bullshit can look real adult. It can look like going to law school. It can look like taking the corporate job. Okay, because it's smart. The smartest thing of all is to get on a path that truly is authentic to you, a path that matters. Because if there is one thing I saw over and over and over again, and I still see, it's that once you're on a path, it's very difficult to get off of it. There aren't a lot of 33-year-old interns. You know why? People don't want to start over. It's scary. You have more bills. You might be married. You might have kids. You might have a dog that eats the fancy kibble like mine does. Starting over fucking sucks. It sucks. So I want your path when you're like, no, this is it. I want you to know, like you know, I'm where I'm supposed to be. That's what I did. I made a ton of mistakes dating. Don't follow my lead there. Follow my lead in terms of career. Because honestly, I'm a bad bitch. I am. I'm a kind of a garbage girlfriend, but woo, can I work? So I was a waitress. And during that time, I was thinking, what do I want? What do I want? It's true that what you want is going to be at the very first impulse. Well, I want to be rich. I want to make money. I want to have clout. Okay. Everyone wants money. If that is truly the only thing you care about, it is. It probably isn't. It probably isn't. I know because I worked in mortgages. I worked in mortgages right out of college and I quit to become a waitress because I thought, same thing. I just want to make money. I don't care. I did care because I was putting people into loans that were going to bankrupt them. And I was like, I don't know that I want to be working for a food bank the rest of my life. I'm not going to go on a Mormon mission. I don't want to do something that's nothing but altruistic. But I don't want to be hurting people for money. If all you care about is money, be a stripper, be a drug dealer, be an assassin. If you don't care how you make that money, you know, who fucking cares? If you don't care about climbing the ranks, if there's no other dream in your heart, go for it. And we're going to talk to you guys who maybe don't know what you're good at. We're going to talk to you in a second, but we're still here. So when I did that, I gained data. I was like, okay, money isn't actually the most important thing to me. And what I did was I reverse engineered. I am a big manifester. I have a whole playlist on manifestation. Check it out. But what I did was I pictured my perfect life. My perfect life. Not like down the road with husbands and kids. Like my perfect life in my 20s. What was it? I was on a busy street and I was wearing heels and I was wearing a cute outfit and I was rushing someplace. I was busy and I was going and it was like, oh, I'm like harried. And I was creating something. I was like pitching something to someone. Like there was a presentation. I was striving to achieve something. And I would go back home to my apartment. And I had an apartment. I didn't have a house. I didn't have like a lakeside cottage. I had an apartment. Okay, wait a minute. That's a lot of data for just like a flash that comes into your mind. I'm in a big city. I have something that has a degree of glamour. I'm where things are happening. You know, I'm not in a sleepy town. I'm not abroad. I'm in America. Okay. That sounds silly, but hey man, this is where it starts. You got to start big. You got to wind it down. I'm doing something creative. I was creating a project and I was pitching it to somebody. Oh, okay. That's interesting. And I was like, okay, well, what does that mean to me? That means that there's micro goals within whatever it is I'm doing. A project, a new client, you know, something like that. Okay. I live, like I said, I lived in an apartment. I don't need a really big place that I live in. Yeah, no, I don't need a 4-bedroom house with a wraparound porch. That's not important to me right now. All right. That cuts out school psychologist. That cuts out lawyer. That doesn't cut out improv, Saturday Night Live. Okay. That doesn't cut out writing in magazines. Okay. But we've got more data now, right? It seems silly, but it isn't. And then I went back through that scenario and I looked at the feelings, right? Because we just did what's on paper. Now I looked at the feelings. How did I feel? I felt energized. I didn't want to be someplace that was quiet and sleepy. No, I wanted to be someplace that was hustle and bustle. I felt like I was striving, you know, like I've worked on this thing and I'm going to present it. Micro goals, you know, I want something that isn't just, well, I come in and I sit down and I do my spreadsheet. I wanted things that produce challenges for me within the job. Okay, so challenge is important. Growth is important. Learning to me is still important. Okay. I felt like I was in the center of the action. And when I go back in that scenario, people were looking at me on the street because I was all dressed up. Hey man, I'm a flashy little peacock. I wanted to be noticed. I wanted clout. All right. It's better to face this than pretend, oh, no. I could work in a village in Guatemala and be happy. I fucking couldn't. No, I went for taste sheets and room service and blue check marks on my, no, I'll send money to those people, but it's not going to be me. Whatever is authentic to you, do it. But you can't find that thing if you're not honest about it. And there truly is no wrong answer. There is no wrong path. There is only the inauthentic path. The path that's right for me might be horribly inauthentic for other people and vice versa. I would never look at someone and be like, ew, a doctor, that's what you're going to be. But that is not my vibe. So we have to, again, stop comparing ourselves. So when you can do this reverse perception engineering kind of thing, you're going to get so much more clarity. And it might not seem like it at first, but slowly but surely, as you go back into these scenarios, okay, I just got in the Uber and I've got this presentation, like, what's the rest of my life like? I mean, do I travel? Am I more of a homebody? Do I have, you know, a job that is creative or is it more analytical? And, you know, the thing I'm presenting to someone is at the UN versus at Vogue. Okay. You're going to deepen and sort of feather out that fantasy, that scenario, and you're going to gather more and more and more data. All right. And all the while, you're working your sandwich artist job and you're saving your money. Now, look, again, this is why you can't compare yourself, because you're going to see girls who are getting their first set of breast implants or they're doing like girls' weekends in Miami. And you're like, I smell like mayonnaise. I know that. But they smell like existential mayonnaise. Okay. You are doing the hard work. What you essentially are is pregnant. Ugh, I know. Ugh. But look, when you're pregnant, are you out having all the fun? Are you loving the way your body looks? No, but you're creating something. And everyone can see it. They're like, oh, that's why she's not drinking. That's why she's not doing keg stands. She's pregnant. You are pregnant with your future. And the time will come when it's time to go into labor and really bring this thing into light. Really put the plan into action. But before you can put a plan into action, before you would ever go into premature labor and try to bring something out into the world that is not ready, right? We can accept that that's a pretty bad scenario. Same with your future. You take the time. But I want you to make sure that this time is used wisely. I hated living at home. And again, I'm from Newport Beach. It's beautiful. Like, people save their whole lives to like go to this place. Like, it's great. It was not bad, but it was bad for me. And it started to wear on me mentally because I didn't know if I was a lifer. And I talked about this in another video. I forget when, but whatever. Even when I moved to New York, when I first moved to New York, because I did after about a year and a half at home, I was still a waitress. I didn't like go straight into Condé Nast into my corner office next to Anna Wintour, who is such a bitch in real life, by the way, such a twat. I, still had to do that. And the difficult part with like service jobs and those kind of jobs is you don't know if you're a lifer. I mean, some people do, and they're like, well, this is me. And I just was never okay with that. Like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. I didn't come this far to only come this far. But looking back, if I had been more resolute about that, been like, hey, you're working at Johnny Rockets, you're working at Ben and Jerry's, you're not going to be here forever. You're in that pregnancy period. You are gestating something larger. I wish I could go back and tell myself, spend as little as you possibly can. Be the cheapest bitch on the planet. Not forever, for like a year. You just came from college. You've already been poor. What's the difference, right? Now you're poor in service of something. You're saving towards something. Why am I so gassed up about you saving your money? Because I want you to have as many options as possible, and options are money. The only freedom is financial freedom. Right? You ever like be home for summer break, have no job, and be broke as fuck? You're like, well, this is awful, right? It's terrible. Money is freedom. So the more money you save, the more freedom you're stockpiling. Every time you say, no, I don't need that latte. No, I don't need that tube top. No, I don't need that girls' weekend. You're like, I'm amassing freedom. I'm not denying myself anything. I am gifting myself with the greatest luxury ever. Freedom and options. I'm investing in my future. That's badass. Because when you get to New York or Dallas or wherever, or maybe just in your hometown, but once you decide what that move is you're going to make, you are going to have so much more rocket fuel if you've been financially judicious. But what if you don't know what you want to do? What if you don't know? Okay, you're going to still go into these scenarios, right? And maybe yours isn't as fully formed as mine. Who knows? Maybe your scenario is way more fully formed than mine. But let's say that it's not. Let's say it's just like, I don't know, I'm like happy or something. Okay, well, what does happy mean to you? I don't know. You don't know what makes you happy? What typically has made you happy? What's like the best day? Is a day at the lake in a Jeep with your friends in a country bonfire? All right, what have we weeded out? Probably a big city. That's progress. Okay, happy is playing with my dogs and like, okay, maybe you want to work with animals. Maybe a 9-to-5 isn't great for you because you want flexibility to go skiing when it's a powder day or something. See, we are getting somewhere. And you're like, but that's not guiding me towards a specific job. Like, I don't have this passion that I feel like everybody else has. This is kind of an amazing scenario. People like me, creatives, maybe you're the same way. It is a burden. To have a dream in your heart is a bit of a curse because if you don't fulfill it, you're miserable. And trust me, girl, you are miserable. That dream will keep you awake at night. It will claw at you until you are finally like, what? Write a book? Is that what you keep saying? Fine, I'll write a goddamn book. At some point, I was spending more energy avoiding my dreams than I would just going after them. There is no pain like the pain of regret. The pain of discipline, It's not pain at all. It feels good because you're like, I'm climbing, I'm doing something, I'm fulfilling myself. Is this hard? Yeah, but it's hard in service of something. When you work out and your muscles are burning, you're like, fuck yeah. When you like fall over and scrape your knee, that pain, you're like, fuck yeah. You're like, this fucking hurts. This is stupid. Pain in service of something isn't pain at all. You're willing to accept it because it feeds you in your soul. And your body and your mind are like, yes, this is where we're supposed to be. But again, if you don't know where you're supposed to be, well, that kind of means you can be anywhere. When I said I worked in finance, remember? The people I worked with, I would ask them, I'm like, have you always been like a mortgage person? I don't know, you're like a kid and you're like, let's play pretend, I'm gonna sell mortgages, because that's not what I did. And they're like, no. They're like, I don't know. I didn't really like think about what I wanted to be. There's nothing like I wanted to be. I just knew I wanted to make a lot of money. So here I am, and I'm good at it, and I like it. This is great. And those motherfuckers outsold me. I mean, they made millions of dollars, and I think I literally made like $4,000. I made nothing. I was bad at it because I hated it. Because there was a different dream in my heart that I was denying. It's like being on a date with someone you don't like because you're not over somebody else. You're like, this sucks. You would be a great person for somebody else, but not me, because I'm looking in a totally other direction here. So this is kind of good. If you don't have this creative need, this dream in your heart, oh my God, I'm so jealous. I'm so fucking jealous. Pick something that you enjoy, that you're good at. Maybe you're good at analytics. Maybe you're good at numbers, computer programming, and go for the money. But you need to have a dream in your heart in some category, okay? You can't just be this potato person, like just flopping around through life with no goals, with nothing to actualize. Maybe your dream is, I want to rescue a bunch of dogs. Maybe I want to climb Mount Baldy. Maybe I want to sail halfway around the world. Great. In that case, your job is merely going to be the thing that pays for you to chase those dreams, okay? Because these are the two categories. You work to have the money to do the things you actually really want to do that fulfill you, or your job is partly the thing that does fulfill you. You have to have dreams too. You know, I mean, I love my job. I love this job, but I have other dreams. But do you know what I'm saying? No matter what, you need a dream, and no matter what, you need a job. So let's look at the hybrid of those two things. So in conclusion, like I said, stop comparing yourself. Do not for one fucking second think everyone has it figured out. Even the people who are going to medical school. Do you think they're like, woo, 11,000 more years of school, more scantrons? No. They're like, oh, fuck. Same with people going to law school. Same with people going into the military. Like, that's a whole different kind of schooling. Like, they're trepidatious as well. So while their path might be more rigid, it doesn't mean that they don't have the same sleepless nights, the anxieties. I mean, if anything, there's a curse to the rigidity of the path. It's like, well, I'm on it and I don't know what to do now. If I better like this. What if I don't like being a lawyer? What if blood and guts creep me out? What if the military is hard and I'm afraid? Then what do I do? Well, like I said, it's hard to switch path, kind of like in the middle. It's not impossible though. It's not impossible. And truly, the sooner you realize it, get out, cut and run. But it's better if you can take that time to really figure out, what do I want to do? What is authentic to me? And it doesn't have to be perfect. But it has to at least have refined down from, I don't know, to, okay, I want to be in a big city. I want a job that challenges me, and I want it to have a little bit of clout. Okay. Great. Maybe that's politics. And you start out working for this one person, you're like, actually, I kind of want to be in this category. Okay. You're still in like the range of authenticity. And as you get older and go on, you're going to narrow it down. You're like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. Be a lobbyist for Big Pharma. I hope not. But you know what I mean? When I was starting out, this job hadn't even been invented yet. This job didn't even exist. Like, you never know what's down the horizon. But if you do know the things that make you light up inside, the things that make you feel authentic, fulfilled, challenged in a good way, that pain of discipline, that muscle pain of discipline, then when these new things come, you can say, that works for me, that doesn't. I do kind of like this. You know? You have developed an emotional organizational system, a file folder. This goes here, that goes there. This I toss out. You're going to have to do it eventually in your life. I mean, I guess not. A lot of bullshit people don't. And every decision is agonizing. You know, every person that comes in, they're like, I don't know, do you belong here? Because they have no system of what is authentic to me and what just doesn't work. Might work for someone else, doesn't work for me. They have never taken the time to figure that out because they spent their time comparing. I got to get on this rat race. There's no time to lose. That's true. I don't want you living at home, working at Panera for 4 years. You give yourself 1 year. Seriously, girl, 1 year, and then get your ass underway in your life. And I want you to use that year to do some work. Because the last thing you want is to make those panic, fear-based decisions. Oh my God, I'm so behind. I got to marry the first guy I see. I got to take the first job I'm offered. Then again, that path is set and it's like, oh, I've got to get a divorce and I've got to start a whole new career. I mean, it becomes insurmountable and people, they don't do it. They just stick it out and they're kind of miserable. So if you can give yourself simultaneously the space to figure things out with the appropriate amount of pressure of, hey, I'm not a lifer here at Panera. I gotta get out of this. I don't want to like it here too much. I don't want to be too comfortable in mom's basement. This isn't great. I'm using this time as effectively and as distilled, as weaponized as possible. And I'm going to make a plan and I'm going to go for it. Plan doesn't have to be perfect. But a bad plan is better than no plan. The wrong move is better than not moving at all. Never, ever forget this. And again, at some point, it's going to be easier to just go after your dreams than to constantly run away from them. I promise you. The pain of discipline feels so good. If you guys have some questions, leave them down in the comments. Or like I said, if you want some one-on-one help with me, if you're kind of in this forest and you don't know what to make, if you've even got this scenario, my perfect life, but you kind of don't know what it's trying to tell you, I can help you. Click the links down below to head to my website and submit a question to me. Also, like I said, go to my Instagram, ShallonXO, and follow along on our Shalligator getaway as we traipse around Costa Rica. I'll see you later, Shalligators.